Embody a unique ghost hunter endowed with supernatural abilities as part of an ancient order. Your adventures take you through haunted properties like ancient manors, glorious castles, and opulent mansions, each steeped in mystery and spectral phenomena. As you step into these eerie settings, you must investigate the underlying causes of the supernatural occurrences that plague these locales. Through careful exploration, you gather clues and insights into the hauntings, confronting horrors and threats such as ghostly apparitions, monstrosities, and other unsettling entities.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Ithaqwa's Bane bringing you gaming goodness, and since it is October, the month of ghoulies and ghosties, I thought that I would bring you some suitable games to play this month. The first of which is called WRAITHOUND, and it's by cezarcapacle. The name may sound familiar. I have featured a number of Cezar's games on the channel. And the art for this game, both interior and covers, is done by Holm, and the cover is very, very suitable for this game. Right, I'll put a link down below to the Patreon for the artist Holm, in case you want to lend them some support. But yes, WRAITHOUND. What is WRAITHOUND? Well, it is a tabletop role-playing game. It says it's designed for 1 to 3 players. I'm not sure where the sort of maximum of 3 comes from, but it can definitely be played solo by yourself. But you can also play this co-op with your friends. After playing this a few times, I'm also getting good vibes about this being a suitable classroom exercise for this month. For subjects such as maybe creativity or creative writing, English language or English literature, or any kind of language class, this game would be quite a fun little classroom exercise, whether you split the students into their own little groups or whether you do it as a class as a whole, where the different people are going to interact in different ways, give ideas in terms of how to manipulate the prompts and the information that you get. So I can also see this as a sort of multiplayer game, not just with 3, but I think with a lot more could potentially be done. Now, this game, you play a unique ghost hunter endowed with supernatural abilities as part of an ancient order. So you are a member of this order that seeks to protect the people and the land from these supernatural or paranormal entities like ghosts and demons and things like that. I'm getting the feeling that this was designed to be a kind of gothic horror fantasy setting. I don't think it has a specific setting. You can definitely incorporate it into your existing game worlds, but it definitely gives me that gothic horror vibe. I don't think a lot of work would be required to change that into maybe doing a modern version of this game where you're playing in the modern world, maybe like playing as Zach Bagans. Bro, me too, bro. But yes, it's a very, what's the best way of describing this? It's a narrative game. It's a storytelling game. If you're expecting an RPG where you're rolling up sort of statistics and skills and saving throws and you're sort of generating random spells, this is not that kind of game. This is much more of a game where it presents you with prompts which are generated by either dice or cards, and you will then manipulate, evolve, and use those prompts to create the story of the game and to make decisions about what happens. Now, the game does have oracles, things that we can use to help decision making or to give us more information. There are 2 oracles in this game, closed question and open question. So you've got the standard yes or no kind of oracle. But you've also got a much more open form of oracle where it gives you some kind of cryptic saying or cryptic verse that you then apply to the prompts and what's happening to, again, develop your story. So like I say, if you're kind of expecting a sort of standard D&D, boo, hiss, Pathfinder, Call of Cthulhu style of game, it's not that, but it is just as much fun. Now, you will be using 2 6-sided dice, or D6, different colors. They should be different colors. You're also going to need a pack of cards. You will also require the 2 jokers in the cards. Now, when you purchase this game, you're going to get a number of files. You're going to be getting the main rules, which is about 100 pages. It also includes all the tables and everything that you need. But you also have a tables book, which is just the tables, but it doesn't have any of the rules or the description. And I've got to be honest, after playing this, even after maybe just one time, I actually found that I didn't need the rule book anymore. I just needed to refer to the tables, because the rules themselves and the mechanics are very simple and very few. So it's very easy to learn the game, to understand the game, and then you don't actually need this larger sort of rule book anymore. You just need the tables book. In fact, I have to be honest, it's probably, if you're going to print it out, it's probably just worth printing out the tables book. And if you play with a normal deck of cards, you then have to refer to the tables to find all the relevant information. However, in the files you will get when you purchase this game, you will have all the individual cards which have the information actually on the cards. I'll put some pictures up here so you can see them. As well as that, you also get some coupons to get print on demand for the rule book, the table, the special cards, the custom cards. I think there's also some custom dice, but you're getting these coupons for print on demand, and they are at cost. So in other words, Cesar will not get any profits from those print on demand, so the price will be a lot cheaper than normal. I didn't do that for this one. I printed it out myself, and I will be using standard cards. But the actual cards, the custom cards, make the game a lot easier to manipulate and to sort of organize. Now, there is a slightly higher price, a different version of the game. I think the basic game is around $13. I think the sort of higher price version is about $15. The more expensive one includes a VTT, which I've got to admit is actually probably the best way to play this game. The VTT version is very well done, and it saves a lot of referring to tables, writing things down. I mean, you're still going to have to journal somewhat to develop your story and to have the game progress. But the VTT, I've got to admit, I think it is the best way of actually playing this game. What else is there? Okay, so the files can be found on itch. Cesar does have fairly regular sales on his products. At the time of recording, I think this is on sale. I'll have to double check. But I will put all the links down below for the artist's Patreon, for the itch where you can find this game. But enough of me talking. Let us have a look at the rules. Right, I had to change the zoom and also the lighting. Hopefully it's still bright enough for you guys to see. But yes, WRAITHOUND, a very suitable game to play during this month and over Halloween. Cezarcapacle is the designer and Holm is the artist. So so first of all, if you want to print this game out like I have done, There is a bit of color, there is a little bit of artwork, but the majority of the pages are printer friendly, are ink friendly, okay? So it's not a huge drain on your ink tanks, on your printer, but be aware there are some pages that will have artwork and color, as you can see here on the contents. Now, the rule book itself is about 100 pages. The rules and the information about how to play only takes up maybe the first 50 pages. And it's done in such a way that I think this is probably more of a A5 size book. I've printed it A4 because that's the paper that I have. But the way that the pages have been laid out, I'm kind of getting the feeling that this could also be printed very easily on A5. The tables take up the rest of the book. And like I say, once you've played this a couple of times, there's not a lot of things that you have to kind of remember. I mean, I've made myself a couple of sort of cheat sheets that I'll be putting around me when I'm playing the game. But yeah, once you've played it a couple of times, you really only need the tables book, which, as the as the title says, it's just the tables. The tables that are relating to your dice are going to be D66 tables. So you're going to be rolling your 2 dice, designating which ones are the 10s and which ones are the units. So for example, if I say that white are the 10s, if I roll, this becomes 5, 4 or 54. For the tables relating to the cards, they're fairly standard. Now let's take a look inside. You start off with a little bit of lore or a little bit of story in terms of who your character is, who is this order that you're working for in order to try and take down these demonic and ghostly apparitions. It's called the WRAITHOUNDs, hence the name of the game. So there's a little bit of background there in terms of your order and about, what you're supposed to be doing and who you are. And then the book gives you a very quick overview of what the game is. Without going into details, but it kind of tells you every element of the game. So, inspiration, tools, playing safe. Right, so it's okay. First, are we going to create your character, create your mission, set up the play space? Okay, so this game is going to have cards laid out in front of you in a very specific sort of pattern. So you have to set that up. Also, the cards are going to have to be divided into sets. I'll explain that as we go through. And then we actually start playing the game by exploring the location room by room. Do the action moving on from one area to the next area. And then what you'll do is when you get to the final area of the location, you found the boss and you have to do the boss fight. The procedures about how to play the game. Okay, so essentially you're going to be exploring this random location that you generate at the start, room by room. And you're going to have 9 rooms in a 3x3 grid. Now, the 3 rooms, this is going to be the setup in front of you, okay? So the 3 at the bottom here, this is essentially level 1, the ground floor of the building. Then you've got the second 3 rooms, for example. This is going to be level 2, and then at the top you've got another 3 sets, another 3 rooms, and that's going to be level 3. This is where the boss is going to be. So you're going to start on level 1, doesn't matter which of these rooms you start in, and then you're going to make your way up through the house until you meet the boss. That's essentially what you're doing, and each room is going to have information. It could have clues, it could have some things to help you, it could have things to hinder you, it could have environmental threats, it could have ghosts and horrors that are trying to hurt you and kill you and prevent you. There's a lot of things that you can reveal in each room, and they're all going to be generated by the cards that are in those room locations. So the procedure of playing the game is you go to your starting location and you reveal the room. You turn over the cards for that room, and it's going to tell you the room description. It's going to tell you what kind of curiosity there is there, something strange, something maybe interesting. And it'll also tell you whether there is a threat or horror, whether it's some kind of environmental issue or something around you that's causing a problem, or whether it's some kind of creature that's going to try and attack you. So reveal the room, reveal the curiosity. These are all being shown by the cards. Reveal the threat or horror by the cards. There are special rules if you reveal jokers. You then have to overcome what you find in each room. This is normally done with the dice, and it's done kind of like an oracle roll. You're basically going to assign these two dice as outcome 1 and outcome 2. And depending on what the challenge is, what creature you're facing, what environment you're facing, these could be different things. It could be success and failure. It could be major success versus normal success. It could be success with a cost or some kind of complication. It could be major success or tragedy. You know, the levels of the result can differ. It's not necessarily just pass and fail, succeed or fail. Okay, it can actually be used a number of different ways, whatever suits your story the best. Again, we'll show you that as we actually play the game. Once you've overcome the challenge, you then have to evaluate your performance to see whether you did a good job or whether you didn't. And that's also going to affect the sort of boss fight at the end of the game. You can also check for secret rooms, which allow you to take a break, to gather your breath, but also to potentially give you a shortcut up the mansion or up the castle or up the location. Okay, so this section here tells you how to set up the grid or to set up the playing area. Again, you're going to have a layout of cards that you're going to be utilizing and going to be interacting with. I can quickly go through this. So first of all, you need to separate the cards into their two colors, red and black. And then for each of those two colors, you then have to separate them into 3 groups. So first of all, you'll group together all the 2s to 5s. Then you'll group together all the 6 to 10s. And then you'll group together all the jacks to aces. Ace is high in this game. So you'll end up basically with 6 sets of cards. You'll have the red and black for 2s to 5s. You'll have the red and black for 6 to 10s. And then you have the jack to aces of red and black cards. So if you see here, I have my red 2s to 5s. And then I have my black 2s to 5s. Then I have my red 6 to 10. Black 6 to 10s. Red jack to ace and black jack to ace. So these are going to be placed in front of you. I'll show you the setup a bit later. You're also going to need to use the 2 jokers, one red and one black. And these are going to be added to the black sets of cards. The jacks to aces, you'll put 1 at random. And then the 6 to 10s, you'll put the other one. Not the lowest set of black cards, okay? So the jokers go in these black sets. Now, each of these 6 sets is then going to be shuffled. Right, so the first sets of cards, the ones that are 2 to 5, red and black, those are the cards we're going to use for level 1 of the building. For level 2, we're going to use the cards that are from 6 to 10, red and black. And then for level 3, we're going to use the cards that are jack to ace, again, red and black. But remember, the jokers are going to be added to the black decks for levels 2 and 3. Now, what does this level 1, level 2, level 3 mean? Well, those are the floors of the building that you're going to be investigating and hopefully trying to cleanse of the naughty demon ghosty thing. As you can see here, this is basically the layout. You've got your decks here, or your stacks of cards here. Next to it, you're going to have a 3x3 grid, which is going to represent the location and the rooms. So we've got here at the bottom here, we've got our level 1. So this is going to be maybe red cards and black cards. And then here, these are the 3 rooms, or the 3 rooms of interest on the ground floor, level 1. Obviously, there's probably going to be more rooms, but maybe there's absolutely nothing in there. But these are the 3 areas or rooms where something important is going to happen. Likewise, here you have level 2. You've got your red cards, black cards, and then these are going to be the 3 rooms. And then at the top, we've got level 3, or the 3rd floor, red cards, black cards, and the 3 rooms. Now, each of these rooms, I don't know whether you can see, is actually constructed of 3 cards. And what you're going to do is take 2 cards from the red stack and 1 card from the black deck. Now, the way that this works, you've got to do it in the correct sequence. Let me just get these cards. So let's say, for example, we have red and black. Right? These are my cards for level 1. And let's say that I'm constructing the grid, I'm constructing the building. What you do is you take your shuffled red stack and you will put 3 cards down. 1, 2, 3. You will then repeat that so you have 2 cards on each of these locations, and you put the additional cards back because you may need those for other things later on. You then take the black card stack, which again has been shuffled, and you'll place 1 black card on top of each of the rooms. You will then do the same thing for level 2, except you will use the level 2 sets of cards. You'll take 2 red for each room and 1 black, and you've got to have it in the correct order. Red from the bottom, red, red, black. Okay, the black has to be the top card. Now, why is that? Well, when you explore the room, you are going to reveal the cards by flipping them up as a set. Now, that first card, the card on top, is going to be your first red card. And this is going to tell you what room you're in. And to do that, what you'll do is you'll come to your tables and you'll go to the room table. Now it has here regular rooms and I think there's also secret rooms. Secret rooms are a special thing that you can find later, yeah. So you've got level 1, you've got level 2, you've got level 3, okay? So what you'll do, oops, I just messed up the cards, never mind. So for example, here we have the 3 of hearts. You'll look on the rooms table for the correct level. 3 of hearts, this is a dining room. Lingering traces of nostalgia and overindulgence. So you know where you are in terms of what this room is, in terms of the location itself. So maybe it's this location here and it's the dining room. Okay. You then reveal the second card. Now the second card will also be red. Okay. In this case, it is the 5 of diamonds. So again, we will go to the tables, but this time we're going to be looking for the curiosities. And again, check that you have the correct table, level 1, level 2, level 3. So here we have 5 of diamonds. So 5 of diamonds, portraits that change expression subtly. What emotions do they capture? Okay, so we're in the dining room, but what we have found is a number of portraits hanging on the wall, and they seem to, the expression, the faces seem to change as we look at them. Maybe as we walk past, you've got that feeling that the eyes are constantly moving and constantly watching you. Now, the third card is going to be the black card. And this is going to be revealed once you have described the scene or journaled or written down some notes about where you are, the curiosity, the strangeness that's occurring inside that room. So once you've done all of that, you then reveal the black card. And this is going to represent either a threat or a horror. So again, we'll check the table. So this time we're looking for the threats or the horror tables. So what have we got? We've got the 5 of spades. So if you've got a club, it represents a threat. Something around you is causing an issue. Something around you is potentially dangerous. But spades are horrors, and these are going to be the ghoulies and the ghosties that we can find. Now, this game doesn't have a combat system per se. It has the action system where you roll the dice and you assign outcome A, outcome B. You roll to see which one's higher, and that's what happens. But we have got the 5 of spades. Okay, so what are we up against? The frostlings. Creeping frost spectres that crawl along the floors and the walls. Ooh, okay, and this is in the dining room with those portraits where the faces seem to move. So again, you can develop your story revolving around the location, the curiosity, and now the horrors that come. Where are these frostlings coming from? It says that they're crawling along the floors and the walls, but where did they come from? Did they just appear, or did they come from one specific part of the room? Maybe it comes from some adjoining door. Maybe they come from the walls. Maybe they come from the chandelier. And then you've got to make a decision about how you're going to overcome this challenge. How are you going to overcome these frostlings? And again, action dice. So maybe I'll say, well, okay, frostlings, maybe I can try to prevent them from coming near me, or maybe get them to go away by starting a fire. Maybe this dining room has a fire, like the old dining rooms has like an old fireplace. So maybe I'll try and start a fire. So maybe my outcomes could be, maybe the white dice is I start the fire and the frostlings kind of retreat from the heat. The black dice, maybe I try to start a fire, but maybe the frostlings have an influence and the wood starts to ice up and start getting wet, which prevents me from starting to burn it. So we roll to see which one is highest. I get a double one. Oh, you knew it. You just knew it, didn't you? Now, if you do roll doubles, it is kind of a tie, but there are special rules in terms of what the tie represents. If you're doing it on an oracle roll, you just choose the most logical answer or maybe a third unexpected answer. But for action rolls, there are actually specific results depending on what you roll. So a 1-1 means you reach a stalemate. So maybe in this case, maybe the frostlings have iced up the wood to a certain extent, but maybe it's still potentially able to lit, and I'm kind of threatening them to actually light it, and it's like a standoff. So I'm thinking I may have to make another roll to see what happens after that. If I rolled a 2-2, a third unexpected option comes to pass. If I roll a 5-5, the scene is suddenly interrupted by something. Ooh, yeah, indeed. So that's the kind of game it is. It isn't about rolling for combat, rolling for stats, rolling for damage. It's about developing a story, whether it's with positive results, whether it's with negative results. It's all about the story and evolving. So in this case, maybe we're at a stalemate. I'm threatening to burn the wood. They're sort of holding back. They're not too sure what's going on, whether I can do it or not. So we would then maybe try another action. We'd have to try something else in order to come up with some kind of result, whether it's good or bad. Now, if you succeed in this kind of challenge, if you feel that you had a good result from that room, this card, the black card, would go into either your power or peril stacks. And these are going to be used when you do the boss fight. Power is where you have a positive result. You think you handled it good. You put it there. These go back to here. If you think that the frostlings overcame you or did more damage to you and you didn't handle it well, then this black card would go into the peril stack. And like I say, these will be used later on when we fight the boss. But these 2 red cards go back to the locations so you know exactly what there is. But I do recommend making notes, yeah? You would then go to another room. Again, you don't have to go in sequence. You could go to this one if you wanted to. Now, if, like in this case here, if amongst those 3 cards that you reveal, if there are 2 or 3 which have the same number, if you have matching numbers, so in this case you'll notice that I have 2 5s, what that means is that I might have actually found a secret room. And to resolve that, you would make an oracle roll with the yes/no result. So maybe white is yes, black is no. Do I find the secret room? Okay, so black is higher, so the answer is no. So in this case, I wouldn't have found a secret room. But if the oracle result was a yes, I find the room, then we can utilize a secret room to maybe get a shortcut. Now the secret rooms, what you'll do is you'll take a random card from the red unused stack and then put it here. Now there can only be one secret room per 2 levels, yeah? So there'll be a secret room, maximum of 1 from level 1 to level 2, and there'll be 1 maximum secret room between level 2 and level 3. And that's essentially how the game basically plays until you get to the boss. You'll be revealing, sorry, that will go into one of our stacks. You'll then go to the next room and you'll reveal, so the first card again will be red and it is the room. The second card is red and it will be the curiosity, the interesting thing that's happening in the room. And then the third card will be the threat or the horror that you have to face. And again, you'll be checking the tables, whether it's in the rule book or whether the table book, to actually find the details. But like I mentioned earlier, playing this on the VTT or playing this with the custom cards does actually make it easier, because this information will actually be on the cards themselves. On the VTT, it generates the results using the custom cards as well. So you'll continue doing that until you go up all the way to the boss and have the boss fight. Now, if you reveal a joker instead of a black card, and this will only happen on level 2 and 3, because there's no jokers in level 1 stacks, then something special happens. Here's the challenge, evaluate, secret rooms, the boss. Right, so when you get to the final room, you're gonna encounter the boss. And for that, you're not gonna be using the standard threats or horror tables to determine which boss you're facing. For that, there is actually a special boss table. It's near the back. Here we go. Okay, so the black card in the final room is actually going to represent which boss you're going to be facing. Now, again, they don't have any stats, they don't have any sort of special abilities or anything like that. It is a descriptive conflict, a descriptive encounter. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to be making, again, sort of action rolls, but instead of just succeeding or failing, you're actually going to be trying to deplete your power or peril stacks. Where's the thing? Back here. So when you get to that final room and you're facing where is it? And you're facing the boss, maybe it's this room. You will have accumulated stacks of power cards and peril cards. Okay? Power cards are good, peril cards are bad. Now, when you get to that final monster stage, the boss stage, you'll roll up who he is and you'll incorporate that into the story, the big reveal, try and link it with the story that you've been creating so far. And you're going to be doing a number of actions, by determining outcome A, outcome B, rolling the dice, whichever one is higher, that's the result. Now, if you get the positive outcome, you will get rid of one of the peril cards. If the outcome is sort of negative and wins, then you lose one of your power cards. If the peril deck runs out, you have defeated the boss. If the power deck or the power stack runs out, then the boss beats you. Now, it doesn't necessarily kill you, but maybe you just haven't defeated it. Maybe it has escaped. Maybe it has possessed you. Maybe it's gone somewhere else. Yeah. And that's essentially how you defeat the boss. But it's very much a story-driven game and story-driven mechanics. Like I say, don't expect your sort of D&D, his sort of statistics and skills and everything else, and rolling D20s and rolling D6s, rolling D8 for damage. THACO, it's not like that. It's very much a narrative experience. But you should be true to yourself and true to the game. If you fail a roll, incorporate it within the story. Don't just ignore it and re-roll it, okay? The way that this game is designed is such that The game doesn't want to kill you, but it also doesn't want to help you. It's up to you to generate the story. And at the end of the day, it's the story that is important here. It's your development of what's happening around you. It's your use of the prompts. It's your creative thinking that's going to create this enjoyable gaming experience for you. Not necessarily who can roll the most 20s or the lowest number of ones. It's really all about the storytelling, and that's where the enjoyment comes from. But saying that, there will be some dice rolling in order to generate results, to make decisions, and you'll also be using cards randomly to find locations, curiosities, and the creatures that you may have to face. All right, let's have a quick word about these oracles. I think I mentioned them earlier. There are 2 oracles in this game, closed and open question. They are there to help you to develop the story and to run the story. The closed question oracle is your standard yes/no. Normally in games, you'll have an oracle like with solo or co-op games, and you'll say maybe 1 to 3 yes, 4 to 6 no. In this case, no, yeah, to your questions. In this case, it's a little bit different. You're going to be rolling 2 dice, and again, you're going to be looking to see which one is higher. So you formulate a question. Have we got an example here? Yeah. Is this door locked? Or does it require a key, or is it a puzzle? Yeah. So in this case, we're not using 1 dice. We could use 2 dice. So is the door locked? Maybe the white dice says no. The black is yes, it is locked. So we roll. The highest wins, so black wins, so yes, the door is locked. Does it require a key, or is it a puzzle? So in this case, again, you could say key or puzzle, and maybe if it's a tie, it could be neither. Yeah? Something else requires to be opened. Is required to open it. There is another kind of oracle, and that is the open question oracle. And for this, what you're going to do is generate a cryptic saying, a cryptic sentence that again is going to help you to create this story. It's going to help you to embellish what you're saying and what you're creating here. And it's done in the form of verb, adjective, noun, connector, noun, and verb. In the form of verb, the, adjective, noun, connector, the, noun, that, verb. What the hell? Let's quickly roll one up. So the first verb, again, is going to be a D66. So I'm always going to go white first. So we get a 2-2. Disturb the 4-4. Disturb the forsaken. Disturb the forsaken void. Connector. 6-1. Disturb the forsaken void above the stone dissipates. And you can interpret that any number of ways. You can relate it to the location, the curiosity, the horror, maybe things that you've found before, maybe things that are nothing to do with your current location, but maybe something that you've experienced as part of your character, but something that will drive the story forwards. You know what I mean. Right, that is a very quick overview of the game. Again, I'm doing it very quickly because I actually want to show you by playing the game. What we're going to do now in this video is just create our character and create our location. Boom, boom. So we're going to use the tables, and again, you can just use the tables book. The tables book is actually a simplified version of this. I mean, it looks kind of the same, yeah, but it doesn't have all the sort of descriptions. It literally just has the tables and the title, yeah. But yeah, we're now just going to create our character. We're going to create our first mission, the location that we have to investigate, and in the next video, I will show you how the game plays. So we are going to use a notebook to write down the information. So you're going to be creating name, drive, talent, style, and trinket. So these are things that you can use to kind of describe your character, but also gives you that foundation for who they are, what they can do, what's their background. And as you progress through the missions, you can actually modify and update your journal and your character depending on things that you do, things that you find, and things that your story develops. I think in the example in the book, as the story goes by, we find that the character in the example has a link with botany, I think. Anyway, we're going to roll these up, and these are going to be again on D66 tables. So the first thing we're going to do is our character name. I think we'll do it in pencil. Right, so our first names, we've got first name, last name, and epithet. Let's see how we do. Okay, unless I say otherwise, it's always white first, yeah? 6-1. So our character's name is Aylwen. Okay. Last name, we get a 5-1. Dusk Grove. Okay, and then the epithet, we get a 3-1. We do get a 6-1, 6-1, 5-1, and now a 3-1. That black dice is running too many ones, right? 3-1, the Blessed. Okay. So, I mean, as I'm playing the game, I may want to incorporate that into certain encounters or things that we find in terms of, I mean, how did I come up with that nickname, that epithet of being the Blessed? Maybe I'm lucky, maybe I have a certain resistance to certain supernatural or paranormal effects, possibly. So that's our name. The next thing we want to roll up is, second one is drive. As a Wraithhound, you had no choice in joining the Order, but that doesn't mean you lack a personal agenda. Roll on this table to discover what drives you to keep fighting, revealing the true motive behind your actions. Ooh, we get a, sorry, white first, isn't it? A 4-5. To leave a mark in the supernatural world. Okay, next, and again, this can be used in terms of how you role play the character as you're playing the game. Talent. Every Wraithhound expresses their supernatural powers in a particular way. With a blend of innate and acquired skills, you are a versatile hunter. However, one talent sets you apart. Roll on this table to discover how your unique talent manifests, which may hint at the origin of your powers and the nature of your training under the Order. So this could be something that definitely replaces all the abilities, skills, and everything else that are in normal RPGs, but it's something that you're maybe very strong at, or something that is very important to you that can definitely be used in certain encounters. So what's going to be our L1 Dusk Grove's talent? 4-6. Projecting myself into the spiritual realm. Ooh, like spirit walking. Oh, okay. So maybe it's like, what's her name? Elise in the what are those movies? Not Conjuring, but where she goes basically into the sort of ghost world to find people. So maybe that's what I can do. Ooh, okay. So again, that can be used within the story to aid me, or maybe even to give me a problem as I'm walking into the spiritual world, or maybe using that to overcome an encounter. Maybe something bad happens. Maybe there's a potential of getting trapped there or something. All right, so that's my talent. Next up is style. Now for style, there's a few things we have to roll up. We've got attire, hair, and eyes. Then we've got our trinket. Right. As a Wraithhound, your presence is as distinctive as your abilities. Your style sets you apart in the shadows. Okay, so our attire is 4-3. It's running a lot of 4s. 4-3. A frayed wizard hat and matching robe. Oh no. Oh no. Hogwarts. Frayed wizard hat and matching robes. And the matching robes are frayed as well. So maybe Maybe I'm not a young Wraithhound. Maybe I'm kind of more mature, and maybe my talent gained the notice of the Order only when I was sort of older. I mean, just from that style, from that attire, it's kind of making me think that maybe I'm not a youngster. All right, but we've still got more things to roll up. What about our hair? 2, 6. Thick ginger beard. Okay, so maybe it's not a girl. Maybe Elwyn is a guy's name. Okay, so a thick ginger beard, and the eyes, 3, 6. 3, 6. Gentle sapphire eyes. So I'm writing all this down. I'm writing all this down off camera. Right, we've got one more thing left, and that is the trinket. Trinket. As part of your training as a Wraithhound, the Order has bestowed upon you a peculiar object. Its function remains a mystery, but they hinted that it could aid you in your mission. It's up to you to uncover its purpose and understand how it connects to the supernatural world. Okay, let's see what we get. Anything nice? We get a 1-1. Okay, second 1-1 of the session. A smooth oval stone that pulses with the warm glow when held, casting intricate shadow patterns on nearby surfaces. I think this is the same trinket that Cesar had in his video. I think it's the same trinket. Okay, let me write that down. Right, so we've got all that down here. Now I'm thinking maybe this trinket, again, maybe up to you to uncover its purpose and understand how it connects. Okay, first thoughts, maybe this acts like, if you've ever watched those sort of ghost hunting videos on YouTube or TV, sometimes they use that, is it the sort of Xbox Kinect thing to do all the lines, all the sort of, is it infrared or ultraviolet lines or whatever, and then they can see movement through the, is it the Kinect? I think I also saw it on one of the paranormal activity movies. Maybe it's something like that. Maybe it's a way that I can use to kind of locate ghosts within locations. But we're going to find out, because maybe it's not that. Maybe it's something completely different. And that is my character, all rolled up. Aylwyn Dusk Grove, the Blessed, thick ginger beard, frayed wizard hat, and his ability is projecting into the spiritual world. Okay. Right. What we're going to do to finish off this video is actually to roll up the mission, our first mission for this character. Now for this, you're going to actually create a location and also a haunting. So haunting are the sort of occurrences that have got us called in, that's got the place noted. So let's roll up the location. Now again, I've left an area here to make notes, but I have also put down here mission number 1, location and haunting, and I've also located here the 3x3 grid for the location with references, so I can write down location, room descriptions, curiosities and horrors, and I can actually refer to which room or location on the grid it is. Right, so first of all, we need to roll up the location. Where is this haunting taking place? Okay, so again, D66. Okay, one more. This isn't normal. It's not normal. Right, we've got a 1-1. Sunstone Manor, a radiant estate built from shimmering, light reflective stone. Okay, so maybe the walls will have some effect in terms of, as I am describing the rooms and everything else. Shimmering, light reflective stone. So we're at Sunstone Manor. I can, again, with this game, I can actually incorporate this into my existing game world. If I'm playing a campaign with friends or by myself, I can incorporate that within the campaign world and do something a little bit different. Or maybe I can create a new fantasy world that this is within. It's fine, either way. Right, so we're at Sunstone Manor. Now, what has been happening there that has caused the owners, the visitors, the location, the sort of the people of the area to kind of highlight this as a place for the Wraithhounds to help out? So, haunting. When you receive your mission briefing, the exact nature of the supernatural disturbance remains unclear. However, initial signs of activity have already manifested. Consider these your first clues in unraveling the mystery. All right, so we get 5-4. 5-4. The house's oldest tree bleeds red sap, and cries can be heard near it at night. Ooh, so it's a bad tree, it's an evil tree. Right, let me write that down. Okay, so maybe there's this large oak or this large elm tree outside, maybe in the front grounds of the manor. And recently this red sap has been coming out of the tree's bark. And it started to sort of emanate sort of cries in the middle of the night. And nobody seems to know what's going on. But the common theory is it has something to do with the manor, something to do with the house itself. All right, so we have our character. We've got our character. We've got our mission. Come back for video 2, and we will start investigating Sunstone Manor and find out exactly what is going on to cause these problems. Right. So, we have had a quick overview of WRAITHOUND. We've created our character, created our first mission. Video 2 is going to have the gameplay as we explore Sunstone Manor. So, I will see you there. Don't forget, in the meantime, like and subscribe, ring the bell to be notified of my uploads, add some comments. Let me know what you think. Is this the kind of game that you think you would enjoy playing? If not, why not? Have you tried these games? Try first before you make comments. And I think I said at the beginning of the video, I think this is a very good game or tool that can be used in the classroom. Whether you have language classes, literature classes, creative writing, or sort of standard creativity classes, this is definitely something that you can use to encourage your students to let out their imagination. And it's very suitable for this month, the month of October. So, join me in video 2. We are going to Sunstone Manor. And we're going ghost hunting. Cheers.